we've talked about the SI units for length. You guys remember what it is?
This is chapter 3, right?
Chapter 3, yes. So what is the SI units for length?
Meter.
A meter. Yes, a meter is the SI unit for length. Often you will see centimeters and millimeters, but meter is the one that we typically go by. Since we're working with things that are going to be kind of small for the most part, things that we can kind of hold in our hands and things like that, we're probably not going to be using a meter. So we're going to be using those smaller units. Okay, so that's the same thing with mass. We had talked about mass earlier. Kilograms is the SI units, but we're going to be working with like things like grams. Okay, so depending on what you're working with, those are going to be the units that we're going to be using. Even though there are standard SI units, ultimately we're going to be working with stuff that is accessible to us, right? So I'm not going to give you a kilogram of gold or anything like that, okay? I may give you a microgram or a nanogram or maybe even a picogram, you know. Okay, so volume. We talked about volume. cc's, 5 cc's stat.
Yeah.
Yeah, no?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so that's where we're at. We're going to talk about volume. Okay, so the volume, the SI units for volume is typically meters cubed. However, almost everybody uses liters. Okay, so the way that they compare to each other, yes, the way that they compare to each other, so a cubic meter, right, is, so 1 liter is actually equal to a decimeter, and 1 milliliter is equal to 1 cubic centimeter.
Is that a DM?
That's a DM, 1 decimeter cubed, yes. Okay. Questions, concerns, Cash? Okay, so when they're talking about cc's, cc stands for cubic centimeters. Often you'll see it just written as cc's, particularly in the US. So that means the same thing as this, 1 cubic centimeter, okay? So 1 milliliter is equal to cubic centimeter. So the density of water, for instance, when we talk about density, which we'll be talking about here in a second, the density of water is 1 gram per 1 milliliter. Or you'll often see it as 1 gram per 1 cc or cubic centimeter, okay? And volume, you guys know what volume is. It just represents the space that we're taking up. Okay, sounds good. Everybody's there, so I'll keep going. No questions, no concerns? So let's use it a little bit. Clear. Let's see. Okay, so now that you've been introduced to all of the different units, let's see if we can start trying to using them. So very much like what we talked about before about the equivalencies. Did we talk about equivalencies?
Talk about what?
Equivalencies.
I don't believe so.
You don't believe so? You don't put money on it?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
like
I thought I was going to earn some money. So
Oh, yeah. Sorry, we did.
yeah, remember hours, today's, how many hours are in a day?
Yeah.
24.
Yeah, right. So the fact that we can put them different ways. So this works the same thing with the metric system. We can use it as an equivalency. So I can change milliliters into liters, right? And that's just an equivalency. You guys get that, right? So, and this just basically just shows us that we can sit there and switch those units the way we want to, right? So whatever unit that we're choosing, we can sit there and say whatever unit it is, such as grams, it could be grams, right? So 1,000 grams is going to equal 1 kilogram. Or I could say 1 kilogram is going to equal 1,000 grams. Okay, so this is also part of the beauty of the metric system. It's just that it's still factors of 10, right? And they're easy to remember. Okay, so let's test this out. Let's see your skills to see if we can get any further. If I have 0.711 kilograms, how many grams is it? So set it up for me. Do it the hard way. Don't do it the easy way, because you know the questions are going to get harder, I promise you. So if you get used to doing it the hard way, set it up for me. Who said
Me, Christina.
Okay, Christina, show me those skills.
Hold on, I'm trying to find out what the conversion is. Kilograms, so there is.
Let me go.
No, I want Christina to do it.
Okay.
You can help her out though. What is how many grams will equal 1 kilogram? Kilo.
1,000. It's 1,000 grams.
1,000 grams. Okay, so let's go ahead and set it up. Tell me, all right, you talk. Tell me what I'm doing. So I can say 1,000 grams. We'll just write this up here just so we know it. And everybody who is on the same page is equal to 1 kilogram. You guys agree to that? Anybody want to fight over it? Yes, no, maybe?
So then you're going to put 0.711 kilograms.
Okay, I'm going to put that down right here. And then I'm going to do what?
And then on the catty corner, you're going to put 1 kilogram.
And on top?
1,000 grams. And then you multiply across, or cancel the kilograms out, and then you multiply across.
Okay, so my answer is going to be
711 grams.
Everybody agree? Anybody disagree? Good, piece of cake? Simple. Heidi, you cool with that? Does that meet your approval?
Yes.
Okay, so we can move on.
Yes.
Okay, so since that met Heidi's approval, Heidi, can you help me out with this problem?
Convert.
It says convert 5.25 times 10 to the 5th milligrams to kilograms.
Does the 5.25 go? So you write that,
Okay,
and then you do the little chart, and then you put, is it 10
times 10
to
to the,
fifth?
okay, milligrams, little mg. So how many milligrams equal a kilogram? Or should we break it down into parts?
Doesn't it go from milligrams to grams to kilograms?
Okay, so let's do that. Help her. She said, then tell me how many milligrams are in a gram?
So you put at the bottom right here, catty corner, you're gonna put 1 milligram.
We're gonna let Heidi do it. I want you to tell me the equivalency to help Heidi out.
So 1 milligram equals 0.01 grams.
Okay, or can I just say 1,000 milligrams equal, because I like big numbers. 1,000 grams, I think 1,000 milligrams equal 1 gram. Can I say that?
Okay. Yeah, that works too.
That's okay?
Works too.
Okay. Okay, so Heidi, do you know how many kilograms? How many grams equal a kilogram? Kilo.
Is it 1 kilo equals,
I wrote it somewhere.
What was that, Kelsey?
is it 1 kilo equals 1,000 grams?
Okay, 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. Okay, so those are two beautiful equivalencies to work with, Heidi. So help me out. You were saying, where am I going to put what? What's the first thing I'm trying to get rid of? What unit is this again?
Milligram.
Milligrams.
Christina, come on, gotta let Heidi
I'm
do
sorry.
it.
I'm
Give her
sorry.
your
I'm sorry.
chance. Relax.
sorry.
Can you tell she's excited? She's just a little excited there.
Yeah.
Okay, come on,
Sorry.
Heidi.
So you I'm not sure if you multiply that to get,
But what do you mean? Where am I gonna put, multiply
next.
what? There's only have 5.25 times 10 to the 5 milligrams. So what do I need to put in my table there?
1,000 goes on the bottom.
Okay, so I'll put 1,000 milligrams at the bottom.
Yes.
Okay, and then what's gonna go on top?
Is it 1 gram?
Okay, so then that changes it to grams, right? 'Cause
Yes.
that means that's the unit that'll be left. And we want kilograms. So how do I change grams to kilograms?
You
So if I wanted to get rid of the grams, where am I gonna put grams at?
on the
Top or
bottom.
On the bottom, that's right. So I put 1,000 grams down here at the bottom. And then what's gonna be up top?
Would it? 1 kilogram.
Okay, the units that we want, right?
Yes.
Okay, so and that's what we wanna get at the end of the problem. We want kilograms, so that definitely should be up top. So these grams are gonna cancel out. So if we multiply across, up top, and then multiply across by the bottom, and then we divide them by each other, what are you gonna end up with?
525 kilograms.
You said 525? Or
No.
0.525?
Point.
Never mind. I messed that one up.
What was that?
I said, never mind. I messed that one up. I forgot to put the point in there.
Okay, piece of cake. Now, it's a beautiful table. Make use of it, right? So always think about canceling out the units. You want to end up with what you want, right? We want it kilograms. So you want to make sure you're able to cancel out the units and you're left with just the units that you want. That's the best way of confirming your answer, right? And you guys all know x over x is going to equal 1, right? So just think about those units canceling out just like that. Okay? Questions, concerns, Cash? Anybody worried?
So wait, you multiplied across the top on both sides and then divided by them?
And divided by the thousands. Yep.
Oh, I got you.
Yep. Okay? Can we move on? Ready? Everybody got it down? If you don't tell me to slow down, I'll keep going. We'll finish 3 chapters in a day. I can talk real fast.
How
So
did
as
you know-
long as you get the equivalencies, then you're good, right? You just set up
That's
the
right.
table.
Yep.
Okay. Will we be provided the equivalencies, like in the?
Yes, on your resource page, you should have a conversion sheet, and it has, there you go. You should have a couple of conversion sheets as a matter of fact, and they are provided to you.
Where did you say that was?
It's under resources, under modules.
It's at the very bottom of modules, Megan.
Okay. And are we gonna be able to use that while testing, or that's just?
Yes,
for-
you are. Anything that's under your resources, you're able to use except for the videos.
It doesn't have temperature, by the way.
It doesn't have temperature. On another one, it actually does. There should be a couple of them. Yep.
I had to write that one in.
Okay, you guys ready for the next part?
Yeah.
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 Good. Okay. Okay, so the next question says, a fruit drink is sold in bottles that contain 1,892 milliliters. Express the volume in cubic centimeters and in liters. Okay, so what's our given?
1,892 milliliters.
Okay, so, and what do we want?
Cubic centimeters and liters.
And liters. Okay, so where am I gonna start?
With millimeters, right?
Okay,
But you start with what's given. Yeah.
okay, so I'm gonna start with what's given. So the abbreviation for milliliters is small ml. Okay. And we ultimately want to get, let's say, cubic centimeters. So what is the equivalency for cubic centimeters to milliliters?
Is that on that conversion sheet?
Cubic, what was it? Cubic centimeter?
Cubic centimeters to milliliters.
1.
1. That's right. 1 ml equals 1 cubic centimeter. So what should your answer be? Oh, this should be easy, right?
192 cubic centimeters.
Piece of cake?
Wouldn't that be 1,000
What would be 1,000?
on the bottom? 1,000 mLs?
Nope, because 1 milliliter is equal to 1 cubic centimeter. Okay,
Okay.
so now if I wanted to change it to liters, how many liters are in a milliliter? Or I mean, how many milliliters are in a liter? 1 liter equals how many milliliters?
1,000.
1,000. Okay, in that case, then I'm gonna start out the same way. Now what's gonna go on the bottom here?
Thousand. 1,000.
1,000 milliliters,
And 1 liter up top.
okay? Piece of cake? Are we good?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So there is a certain amount of uncertainty with measurements in general. How many of you guys have a scale?
Me.
Okay. Do you guys weigh yourself throughout the week
No.
or every other day or anything like that?
Times.
No?
I feel like crying. I'm just kidding.
When you feel like crying?
Hmm.
I know COVID has been a beast. Okay. So I told you guys how much I weigh, right? Didn't I tell you that? We were talking about Tinder.
Yeah.
Said like
Why
220.
were you one?
Okay. So I told you that I weigh 220 pounds, right? So obviously I weigh myself, right? So when I take my scale, I take out my scale. I got my scale at the flea market. It was a great deal. It's a really cute scale. It has a glass scale, right? And I step on it. Well, the first time I step on it, it says 218. And I'm like, right, 218. I'm trimming down, you know, and feeling pretty good and everything like that. And I'm like, you know, okay. A few minutes later, I said, oh, you know, I'm just gonna check it out just to be sure, you know. Oh, it says 228. I'm like, wait a minute. It's just been a few minutes. All I did was just eat that little piece of candy that I probably shouldn't have been eating. I couldn't have gained that much weight. Candy can't weigh that much pounds, right? So then I go back a little bit later, and it says 221. And then it says 223.
Well, I mean, you did get it at the flea market.
Got mine at the store, but mine
Notice all my purchases like that, okay? Okay, so obviously there's some uncertainty involved in this, right? Where's that uncertainty at? Is it that first number, that 200? Should it really be 100 and something, right? Like my Tinder profile says 100. No, so is the uncertainty of that first number? Come on, you gotta help me out here.
It's the heaviest number. That's the uncertainty. Because you don't want to weigh that much. Or do you? No?
I don't mind weighing 220, right? But I
Yeah.
don't want to weigh 240 or 230, right? If I trim down, yeah, 200 is cool. I can handle that, right? But what is the uncertainty? Which one is changing? Which number is changing? That's what I'm asking you. Is it the 100 spot? Is it the 10 spot? Or is it the 1,000 spot? Where am I getting the most variation at?
1,000.
Last one.
The 10.
The 10th.
The 10 spot? This is the 10 spot. Is that
No.
middle number?
I know.
got
100.
I got
Oh, the
two in
one.
every time. Or is it the one spot? This is the one
The one.
spot right here. One spot, 10 spot, 100 spot. Which one is changing? Are
The
these all
one spot.
twos
The
in the
100.
100 spot?
The ones.
be the 100.
The one spot.
Ones.
So the one spot is the one that's changing, right? That's
Yeah.
the one that's giving me all the fluctuation. The 2 spot isn't, I mean, the 10 spot isn't changing that much, right? Really, because this is roughly about 2, right? Because 18, yeah, isn't that about 20? Close enough to 20? If somebody owed you $18 and they paid you 20, you'd be okay with that?
Right.
Okay. So it's roughly 20, right? Okay, so my uncertainty is this number right here. It's in the one spot, right? And that's our problem because we use pieces of equipment that has uncertainty with it. Now your scales are good, right? You got the good scales, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Flea market.
You just don't want to
Got mine
admit
off
that you got yours
Amazon.
at the flea market too. I know I saw you there. You got the other one. Okay, so now the way that we handle uncertainty, there's a couple ways that we can do it. One of the ways is by putting a plus or minus sign. So we can sit there and say, well, it's plus or minus, we take the average of it, calculate the average and say it's plus or minus one of those, right? So we went through and calculated the average of this. What would be the average of this number? Let's see. You guys want to calculate average? You add them all up and divide it by the number you have.
Yeah.
Can you guys do that for me?
$222.5.
So let's just round it up to 223. Get rid of that 0.5, right? Because we don't have any points here. So 223 plus or minus, and it should be that plus or minus should reach that scale that it covers all of the possibilities. So what is the difference between 223 and our lowest number, which is 118?
It's more, it's a larger.
Sorry, 218, not at 118.
5.
5.
5, right? So it's plus or minus 5, right? Because that'll give me, if I have plus 5, that'll give me 28. If I have minus 5, that'll give me 23. Would you be happy with that? Plus or minus 5.
But why wouldn't you go it to 218 to 228 because 228 is your highest? Because you're doing the average?
Yes, because the average is between it. So you're saying my highest number that I got from all my answers are 228.
Got you.
Right? So if I add 5 to that, does that give me my highest number?
Yeah.
And then if I subtract 5 from there, does that give me my lowest number?
Got you.
So that's a wide range, right? So this is one way of dealing with uncertainty, right? And in science, sometimes we do it this way. Another way of dealing with uncertainty is called significant figures. Significant figure says, oh, we're just going to ignore this last number because we know that this is a bunch of BS, right? So since we know that it's a bunch of BS, we're going to sit there and say, well, you're about 220, right? Based upon the numbers that you have. And I'll show you how we go about doing that. Here in a second, we're going to go to the whiteboard. Okay, you guys ready? So let me tell you about Sig Fig. Sig Figs are really simple if you don't overthink it. Okay, so numbers that are going to be significant are numbers that aren't 0. Okay, for one. Okay, and then I'll tell you how the zeros become significant. So for instance, if I have this number, so which numbers are not 0?
12.
1, 2.
1 and 2 are not zeros. So that means, in this case, I have 2 significant figures. Okay? So these zeros here, they're called trailing zeros. Trailing because they're behind. Okay? So trailing zeros are not significant. Now, the way that we make trailing zeros significant is by putting a decimal. Once we put that decimal, they become significant. So you're saying, in this case, you're saying my scale is so good that I am sure about these numbers, these zeros, right? I'm positive about them, right? By you putting that decimal, that means that we now have 4 significant figures. I'm going to write significant figures in different numbers, in different colors. So we have 2 here and 4 here, okay? You see the difference? Okay, so if a 0 is in between 2 numbers, it becomes significant. So this is called a captured 0 or a trapped 0. Okay? So how many significant figures does this number have?
3.
3.
So these are called leading zeros. Leading zeros are not considered significant. Okay, so these leading zeros here are not considered significant. They're just kind of placeholders. They're letting us know that this is a really, really small number, okay? Just kind of like this 0 here is letting us know that this is a big number. These are just space holders. Okay, so how many significant figures do I have here?
2.
That's correct. Now, once I do something like this, I'd be rebellious. This tells me, because we already have the decimal up here, this tells me that this 0 is significant. It's important that I put that out there. So it becomes significant because I had that decimal and this. So how many significant figures do I have here?
3.
Okay, piece of cake?
Yeah.
Okay, so now that I walked you through it, we're going to see if you guys can handle this on your own, right? I'm going to write a couple numbers up there, and then I want you to tell me how many Sig Figs we have. Okay? Start with the first one.
1.
1. 4.
Oops. So we have 1. The next one?
4.
4.
The next one?
7. 7.
7? I'm going to
9.
put money on it.
9.
9.
9.
Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah.
That's right, 9.
Like-
Okay, what about this one?
5.
This one?
5.
And the last one?
2.
2. 2.
Piece of cake?
Why is the 1 with the 9? Why are those 2 zeros after the decimal significant?
Because we put that decimal there and we said 0, 0, that means that we're saying, you're letting them know that I'm really sure about this number to the 100th spot.
right.
Had I not put those zeros there, they wouldn't have counted. I mean, if I had not put that decimal there, it wouldn't have counted.
So without the decimal, it would have been 7?
So if I didn't have the decimal, it would have been 7. Yes. Or actually, it would have been 6. So if it was this number here, hold on. If it was that number, it would have been 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That 0 wouldn't have counted. Okay, got it?
Wait, why is, hold on. Why is it that when you did the last one that you said there's only 6 significant numbers and then the 0 at the end doesn't count? Why doesn't it count?
Because there's not a decimal here saying that that 1 is relevant. It's not significant. So this is our uncertainty. So really what we're saying, and I'll let you respond in a second. What we're saying is that this number here, we're not 100% sure it's 0. We're saying it could be 3, it could be 1, it could be 4, it could even be 5.
Oh, okay.
Right? So we're not 100% sure what that last number is.
So it's kind of like the first one, the 3.
Yeah, so that one is only 1 because we're not sure about this. But if we put a decimal there, we're saying, no, I am sure, right? It's kind of like you put a period. Like when you're talking, you put a period at the end of a sentence. You're like, that's it, right?
Yeah.
Period, right?
Uh-huh.
Like when you're talking to your boyfriend, that's it, period. I'm done, right?
Mm-hmm. It's
So
like,
same concept.
okay,
Okay,
I get you.
you get me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's test this out.
I have a question.
So, yes,
So like on the first one, we have 3 million, right? And it has one significant figure.
that's correct.
What if we have like, maybe we change it like 3.0 times 10 raised to power 6, which is something as 3 million. Is it
So
gonna
if we,
have the same
if
thing?
you're asking me if I put in scientific notation, you
Yes.
see, you're spoiling my fun here.
Oh, sorry.
That's right. That's right. It's all good. But you brought it up now. We just gotta, you just gotta spoil all my fun. But that's right. I'll show you. Okay. So when we talk about 3.00 times 10 to the, oops, to the
6.
this guy, 10 to the 6, that's an exact number, right? So we don't have to worry about that in terms of significance. We worry about this guy in terms of significance. How many significant figures do you have here? If I have 3.00,
Okay. That's
¿cuántos? How many?
3.
3. That's right. So it has 3 sig figs in this case. Okay, does that answer your question?
Okay, got it.
Good question, though. That's good. That means you're thinking. I like that. Okay, so now that you guys are thinking, are you guys excited? You ready to go for the next part? I can tell Jose is like, yeah, I got this now. Okay, we're gonna test you out. We're gonna test those skills. What was that?
Just to confirm, so when there's the decimal, like the number where we said 9, the third one down.
Yep,
So if there's a decimal, the zeros behind it are significant.
that is correct.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so you guys ready to test this out? Now let's say that I want an answer in 3 significant figures. I'm going to put some numbers up here, and I want you to give me all of the answers into 3 significant figures. Okay, so let's say we have, let's see, let me clear. Okay, so let's say we have, okay, so now I'm going to tell you something, right? So when you're determining those significant figures, you're always going to say, if I need 3 significant figures, you're going to take the first 3 numbers that you have, and then you're going to take a look at this number right here. Just to kind of give you a hint, take a look at this number right here. So if that number right there is greater than 5, then we're going to round up. If it's less than 5, then we're just going to put a 0 there. Okay, you got that? We're going to put a 0 at this point. Okay, now if it's at 5 exactly, it depends on what the numbers are behind it. If the numbers are all 0, we're going to put a 0. If there's a number afterwards at any point, then we're going to round up. Did you guys get that?
Thousands place we're looking at.
Ooh, that sounded nice. You just started a song almost now. The 5.
Can somebody do me a favor and mute themselves? I know you guys are playing piano in the background. I love the music, but we'll save it for later. We got to wait till I'm ready to dance. Okay? Okay, so did you guys hear me?
Can you repeat that, please?
Sure. I'll even write it down. Maybe that'll help. So if I determine a number that's circled, number is 5, greater than 5. Oops. You're going to round up. If our determining number is less than 5, we're gonna make it 0. And then if it's 5, then it depends on the number behind it. It depends on the numbers behind it. So if there are no numbers behind it or it's 0, then it becomes 0. If there is a number behind it, we round up.
Saying the 5 would become a 0.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, because we're talking about 3 sig figs. Okay, so let's go through this. These are the general rules, and I'll kind of correct you as we go along. So what would this answer be if I was writing it in 3 significant figures?
The second one?
The first one. We'll talk about the first one, and then we'll talk about the second one.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Now don't forget your space holders, right? Because let's say this is what? That's what is that? It's 12,334,934, right? So if I paid you $123 and I owed you $12,334,934, what would you do to me?
Say you owe me the rest still?
Yeah, you would say that you're really nice, right? I like you. So I will do business with you all the time. You're very considerate. You owe me the rest though. I would fight you, right? I'd be upset. I'd be coming after you with everything I could possibly come out with you if you owe me that much money and you paid me 123 and say, oh, here's your money, right? I'd be a little pissed because that's a huge difference between the two. So you don't want to forget your space holders. So how many zeros should I have as space holders?
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's correct. So it's 12,300,000. That's a 0. Okay. Okay. Piece of cake.
Yeah.
Okay, so look at the next one. So are we going to round this one up or down? We want 3 sig figs.
Down.
Okay, or I should say, or leave it the same. I shouldn't say down.
Leave it
So
the
then
same.
what should be the answer?
1, 2, 3. And then
5 zeros.
5 zeros still.
Okay. Okay, what about this next one?
$1.23.
1.23. Okay, think about money. Again, if I paid you $1.23 and I owed you 12 million, and I'm like, here's your money. Does that make sense?
The 1, 2, 4. With
There you
The
go.
5 round up to 6. Is there the 1 at the end?
Okay, that's right. So you said it'd be 1, 2, and the 5 would not round up to a 6. You'd round up because you're using the 5 as your determinant. 3 significant figures, right? So we're talking about 3 sig figs. Oops.
So the 3 rounds up to a 4?
The 3 rounds up to a 4. That is correct. So 1, 2, 4, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Let me get rid of that dot.
And that's because of that last one, right? Because if it were 0, then it would round down, right? Or
be 0, you mean? Yes.
0.
Yep. That is correct. It's because that last one, it just pushes it over the edge so that we round up. Okay? Where if you look at this is the same number, only thing it doesn't have that little extra to push it over. So this is what bankers do. Right? You have this cent, they won't push you over, right? They'll keep it at this. They'll just kind of knock that off. Oh, we didn't see it. And then they'll put it in their bank account. Okay, so what about this number, the next one? 3 Sig Figs.
54,400.
54,000?
No. Yeah, 54,400.
Okay, I just want to be sure. Okay, and what about the last number? Three Sig Figs.
Zeros at the end.
Would it be 213.3?
Okay, so you said it's 213.3.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, so are these numbers even closely equal to each other? $21.0 to 0.000213.
No.
No.
No. So no, it's not. That's not the correct answer. Now they have to be kind of remotely equal to each other, like ballpark figures. Something like this. This is a whole bunch more than this. So what is it going to be?
It's going to be 0.0002130.
Okay. Now remember, again, this is the biggest mistake. Who was the person that gave me the 21? You can admit it. Don't worry about it. I'm going to make fun of you a little bit, but it is the most common mistake that's made. Everybody typically does that the first time they do this. Everybody does it. Even the best of us. So you're probably one of the best. So it's okay to make the mistake now. You want to make it now. You don't want to make it on the test or in real life. Okay. So you also take the time to look at it. Does it make sense? And I go back to money because I get hurt about money. If I get cheap, have you ever been to the cash register, or you go to the cash register and you go to check out and everything like that, and you give them $100 and they give you back $1.50, and you know that the item there costs like $20 or something like that, and you're like, what the hell is this? Does that ever happen to you?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's happened to everybody once, right? And you're looking at them like, do you think I'm that stupid? Right? Right? So if you think about money, you always get it right, because money, you think about money, right? You don't want to be screwed. And so you think about it, you want to make sure that you use those placeholders. Otherwise, they don't mean the same thing. So in class, I typically earn about maybe $1,000 the first week of class, or approximately that, on students who don't do the math or just will hand me money. Right? Because we talk about this, and I say, for instance, we have a penny, right? Penny is 1 cent, right? Is that true?
Yes.
Yes.
How many Sig Figs is that?
Yes.
1.
1 Sig Fig, right? So we'll talk about that, a penny being 1 Sig Fig and everything like that. And I said, okay, so if I have this number here, right, $10 or something like that. Okay, how many Sig Figs is that?
4.
4, right? So then we'll sit there and we talk and everything like that. And, I'll have a penny there and I'll have them give me their 10. and everything like that. And then we'll talk about that penny, or they'll have a 10 or a dollar, right? And I'll say, okay, so this year has, a total of 4 Sig Figs, right? How many Sig Figs is this? And they'll say 1. Okay, so what about if I had 12? How many Sig Figs would that be?
2.
2, okay? Now, if I wanted to make 12 1 Sig Fig, what would be the answer?
10.
10. Okay, 9 times out of 10, they'll tell me 1, right? I say, okay, perfect. Go ahead and you give me your $10 bill, right? You got a $10 bill in your wallet, and then I'll give them $1 back. Is that a fair trade?
No.
No.
I think it is, because they didn't recognize that placeholder, right?
Yeah.
So you got to remember that placeholder. Otherwise, I take that $1 from you. I mean, that $10 from you. Okay, you get it? You understand it? So don't forget those zeros. That's what I'm saying. Yeah? You ready for the next part?
Yeah.
practice like one more problem?
Yeah, we can do one more problem.
I have a question on that last one. The first number 3 is the determining number, right? The first
No.
3 and the last number.
No, because I said 3 significant figures. So that means 1, 2, 3. So the determining number is going to be that 4th number.
No, the last number on that list of numbers, the decimal.
Oh yeah, here. Okay, this one here.
Yes.
So 1, 2, 3. So then that 3, yes. This 3 would be the determining, yes.
So wouldn't the first 3 turn to a 0?
No, because this number is 3, right? This is the one that's going to either turn to a 0. I mean, it's going to turn to a 0 regardless. It's going to either tell this one to go up by 1 number. Like here, it's 5. So what did we do here? If it was 5, this one actually went down because it's exactly 5. This one here, if we look at this one, we want 3 significant figures. If we play with this one, that's different, right? So this guy's going to be 0 regardless. This number here is going to be understood to be 0 regardless. So the determining, it determines when we put a number,
Thank you.
we round up. You get it now? That's a good question. Okay, so let's say we have this number here. Okay. So let's do 4 Sig Figs.
Is 13.
So it'd be 1398. And then all zeros, right?
Okay. Like this?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's correct. Okay, piece of cake. You guys get it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you guys ready for the next part?
I hope so.
This is getting easy, right? It's too easy now. You're like, oh, I got this stuff. I can see Miguel. Miguel's like, I'm getting bored. We're just going over this stuff over and over again. He's ready. He's been ready, right? Okay, so let's say we're doing addition. And we're talking about Sig Figs. Now I'm going to show you how it works. And then we're going to do it together. So one with the decimal too.
What's in the middle? 11?
11, yeah.
Right.
Okay. So, but you gotta work with me through this, okay? 'Cause I just want to make sure my head is working. Okay. So the very first number here, 2130. So where does significance end? How many sig figs do I have? And tell me what's the last number that's going to be significant for that one.
3.
3 and 3.
3.
3 and 3? What do you mean? There's only one 3.
Like 3 significant figures, and
Oh, okay.
the 3 is a determining number.
Okay. So this is where significant ends, right? So it's these first 3 numbers. That's what you're telling me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good. Okay, good. Just want to be sure. Okay. Now what about 11?
That turns into 10.
Not
Right?
what it turns into. No, I didn't say. I'm asking you how many significant figures do I have, and where does significance end?
You have 1.
Two
Yeah,
significant
2.
figure under 1.
I have 2 sig figs, and then after which one? The first one or the second one?
The second.
Second one.
Okay, so right here. This is where you're saying. Okay. Okay. Now what about the next number? 200.
One significant under 2.
Okay, so it's right after the 2.
Yes.
Okay. Now what about the last number?
After the 1,
Which one? The first one or the second one?
the second one.
Okay, so at the very end, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Very.
Okay. Okay, so you see how I draw these beautiful lines, right? So these lines help me determine how significant are going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the one that gives me the highest value, right? And all of the other ones I'm going to erase. So this here, right between that number here and the number that would be here, is where we're going to determine our significance. So we're going to go ahead and add that up. So let you help me with my addition. I'm old. I forget how to do things.
2, 3, 4, 2, 9, 2, 1.
Is that correct?
Yes.
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 So is this number a 5 or higher?
No.
No.
Low.
Okay. So do we round up?
No.
No.
So then we leave it as,
The 3.
okay. So then we have 2, 3, and then everything else after that becomes 0. Right?
0.
And we won't put our decimals because we're not sure about this. These are all kind of questionable. Right, 0 pretty. Okay, and that would be my answer. Okay,
23.
it's not 23.
2,300.
Man, I could have made a lot of money. I wish we were face to face. Darn it. Okay, questions, concerns? Cash? Cash money?
Cash.
Cash money.
Okay, so
you
so
shorted
now that we've kind of gone through this, now this is for addition and subtraction, okay? For addition and subtraction. You want to go through another one? Or do you
Yeah.
think you got it?
One more.
One more.
Another
Maybe
one.
one more, yeah.
So let's do something like this. So we have 0. That's not a cat. It's a 0. 0, 0.
Why wouldn't you bring the decimal down?
Because the decimal, by you putting that decimal says that you're very exact. This tells us, like if you look at the numbers, right? This one, it's not too secure here. We're not too sure about that. Well, in the 200, we're not too sure about that one. So this really could have been a 5 right here. So that could have been 2, 5, 29, 2.9, right? But we don't know because it's unsure. We're uncertain by it, right? Because that rounding down, we're uncertain by it. And we're trying to account for that uncertainty. If we put a decimal there, you're saying that you're sure that it's that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So if they all had decimals, we would include the decimal in the answer.
Yes, if we all had decimals here, yes, because that changes
Okay.
the answers completely, right? Then our uncertainty is like right here at this point, right? So if we had a
Okay.
decimal here, right here, then it'll be right at the decimal. Then you just put a decimal there, right?
Okay.
And you'd actually have numbers here. You'd have real numbers. You'd have 4, 2 in that situation.
Okay. 0, 2, 1, 5.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so let's work it.
So the greatest value one's the top one. So we use their sig figs.
Okay, that's what you say.
Wouldn't it be
So
the third one?
let's just, as a precaution, just draw some lines just to be sure, okay? Okay, so for the very first one, where would I draw the line for significant figures? Where do significant figures end?
So between the 0 and the first 2, that would be 1, right?
Right here?
No, further left.
Right here,
No, the other way.
right here.
No.
We're talking about the very first number.
Oh, the
Where
very
would I draw
first
the
number.
line?
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Right there.
Between
Right
the
here.
1 and between
Okay,
the 1
so
and the
yes,
0.
we would draw it right here for the very first number. What about the next number?
After 5.
After the 5. Now what about the next number?
After the last.
2, 3.
After the second 2?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what about the last number?
Why wouldn't it be?
After 4.
After the 4.
Oh, good. Can you just help
Well,
us
we
with
made
it?
up our own.
You made your own song? Really?
Okay. Can you hit that silent button for me? I love about the sauce. If I'm not getting it, I don't want to hear it. Okay, so which one or which line are we going to use for significance?
The third one.
The third line, give me a color. So are you saying the red one?
Pink color?
The green.
Green and pink. That lines, those lines. Okay, so let's go ahead and add it up. Oops. If I could add. Okay, so am I gonna round up?
Stay the
Or am I
same.
gonna leave it, or it's gonna stay the same? Okay, so my answer is gonna be what?
Z-
.028 400.
Now, if I'm using this to determine whether I'm rounding up or rounding down, am I going to keep it?
No, you're gonna just leave it alone.
I'm just going to leave it alone. Right? So you use this number. It determines whether we're going to put a 1 over here, if we're going to round it up, or we're going to leave it at 0. Right? So then everything else after it is going to be 0. We don't count those numbers anymore. Right? You ready? You got that, Miguel? Since you're rubbing your eyes. Are you good?
So, okay, I have a question. The lines help us determine the greater value, like the greatest value, or?
Well, the lines helps us determines the, in terms of significance, right? It helps us determine where the significance are at. Because we have so much uncertainty with each of those numbers, each of them have uncertainty associated with it. We just need to figure out which one has the most uncertainty, and it just always happens to be one where you have the highest, or the highest along the lines, right? So this point for these guys here, these are going to be my uncertainty in this area.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Does that kind of help?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to do one more just to show me that you really get this?
Yes.
I have a question.
Yep.
How do you know which one's the determining number?
The determining number is, you always go to the value. It will be the one on the left-hand side. So if you notice, when we draw all the lines, all the other lines were on the right-hand side. It's always the ones on the left-hand side.
Okay.
One that's on the left, right? So, and then, I'm sorry, the one that's on the left. The number that is on the other side of that, this number here, is going to be your determinant number, right? So once you draw the line, this is the number that you're going to change or not change. This is the number that's going to determine whether you change. If that number is greater than 5, you round up. If that number is 5 exactly, let's say this is 0, 0, then this stays as a 0. If, and you don't touch this number, I should say, you don't round up, you leave it alone, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so let's do one more, and then we'll move on.
One question, just so make sure I understand that part. If that number after the 4 was a 6,
yep,
then what?
If this was a 6, then this becomes a 9 right here.
No,
So then it'll be,
not the 4. If the one after is a 5,
yeah,
if the
so
5
it
was a 6,
oh, it's not going to affect it because this is the number that we're going to be looking at. Yeah, so if this was 4, 6, 9, right? This is the number that we're using to determine. Is that a bigger than 5? Nope. So then it doesn't affect it. We'll just use 2.
Got it. Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's do the last one, and then we'll move on. So now this works exactly the same for subtraction. Okay. For the first one, where are we drawing the line?
After the 1.
Okay. For the bottom one, where are we drawing the line?
After the 0?
Before the 9.
Second 0?
After, you said after the 0?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Let me do it in a different color.
When it's a decimal, the last 0 is significant, correct?
That is correct. So we would draw the line right there. Right? Remember those leading zeros? You don't want to even play with them. Okay? So, not there. Okay? Okay, so now which one is going to be the one that's going to determine? The red or the blue?
The red.
Red.
Okay, so we're just going to get rid of this one. Okay, so let's solve our problem. So what is it?
391.
that right?
Isn't that, is that a 9 or a 0?
At the end, or right here? Where?
Yeah.
So this is a 9. So, is that correct?
No.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because you borrow the 1, right?
Yeah. So if I subtract, this is subtraction, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's correct.
It's correct?
Yes.
Okay, so now, which number am I going to use to determine whether I'm rounding up or rounding down, and what's going to be my answer?
The second 9 in the answer that you got from subtracting will be the determining number for the 0.
This one right here?
Yeah.
Okay, so then my answer is going to be
91.
391.
You want to put money on that? How about $10?
39100.
Okay. Piece of cake?
And so the reason
Yep.
we're the 0.00 is because there's a decimal.
Would we say that again about the 0.00?
I mean, the reason we're adding the zeros is because there's a decimal.
No, that isn't the reason why you're adding the zeros.
Because you round it up, is that what?
We're rounding up, right? So tell me, are these numbers equal to each other? And if they are, you want to start working for me? I'll pay you. I'll pay you really well.
No. No, they're not.
They're not equal to each other, right? So your number here is 39099, right? So when you're rounding up, you don't want to forget your placeholders. These are now replaced by placeholders. Let me know that now I have 39,100. You see how often people make those mistakes? Because we've been consistently talking about it. This is one of the most common mistakes. Now, if you make this mistake on the exam, I expect $10 to be Venmo'd to me. Okay, deal?
Can't say there's a deal.
Okay. So these are not equal. Okay. Okay, you guys ready for multiplication and division?
I think so.
Okay. Okay, so for multiplication and division, it's a lot easier than addition. I'll just say that to start out. So in that case, you always go with the number that has, for multiplication and division, you go with the number that has the least number of significant figures. So let's say we have something like this. Okay, so this number here, how many sig figs does it have?
3.
3.
Okay, so it has 3 sig figs. So I'm going to use SF for short. 3 SF. Okay, what about this guy?
1.
Okay, which one has the least number of sig figs?
0.1.
0.1, and it has 1 sig fig. So my answer is going to have 1 sig fig.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we multiply this number by this number, what is my answer? It's 2.
0.201.
Okay, so the answer technically would be 0.201, right? So then, if I wanted to have 1 sig fig, what is going to be my final answer?
0.2.
0.2. That's correct. Piece of cake?
Yes.
How did you get 0.2 for the final answer?
Like, why would you only have one Sig Fig?
Okay, what was the rule that I told you?
Want the lowest amount of Sig Fig.
The lowest amount of Sig Figs. How many Sig Figs do I have for here?
1.
1. So then how many Sig Figs should my answer be?
1.
1. Because isn't 1 lower than 3? This one has 3 Sig Figs. 1, 2, 3. This one has 1. Isn't 3 greater than 1?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, piece of cake. Ready for the next one?
I have a question, Mr. Dr. Harry.
Yes.
So, like in this kind of Sig Fig, if we have it in multiplication, like we have it, we have the answer to be 0.201. And maybe supposing we're asked, we gave this number and we're asked what is this, put it in a significant figure. Are they gonna be the same answer?
No, these are 2 different answers, right? This is the answer, and this is the number with Sig Figs.
Yeah, because I get confused. Maybe when we do multiplication, we get the same, like this answer. Maybe if you come and maybe ask us, give us the same number without a multiplication form and say, put it in a significant figure.
So you're asking me, is there a possibility that you can end up with exactly the same number if you put it in Sig Figs? Yes, you can do that, right? And that would be the case if you had 3 Sig Figs, right? If I had this, if this was 0, 0, that would give me this as my, we'd have 3 Sig Figs in that case, right? That would be 3 Sig Figs. Then the answer would have to be 3 Sig Figs, and that would be the answer. But since we only have 1 Sig Fig, then our answer has to be 1 Sig Fig. Okay?
Okay, okay.
Okay, so let's start and just try one more. So what if I have, okay, what if I have this?
You'd multiply first, right?
Okay, so if you want to multiply, you can multiply. That's fine. So what's your final answer?
It would be
Okay, first off, how many Sig Figs are we going to have here? So how many Sig Figs is this guy? The first number.
4.
4 Sig Figs. What about this next number?
2.
2.
Is it 3?
It's 3.
It's 3 because of the decimal.
That's right, because of the decimal. That's a 0. Just so you know. It looks like a U. Okay, and then this last number.
1.
How many?
1.
2. 2.
No, 1.
Why?
Because these are leading zeros. They don't count. Right? We're only going to count that number right there.
Tricky, tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then my final answer is going to be, let's get the answer. Go ahead and do your multiplication and your division. You're going to get what?
I think it's wrong, but it's 25,360,000.
I got 2536000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 2 million.
Oh yeah.
2 million, right? Not
0
25.
off.
Yes.
1 0 off.
Okay, so now how many Sig Figs will my answer have?
1.
1.
Okay, so then what should be my answer?
2.8.
3
3.
with
Just 3? No. Zeros.
How many zeros?
6.
3,000,000.
6 zeros?
6 zeros.
That's correct. See, isn't
Question.
it really, it's hard to break that habit, right? You just want to just give
Yeah.
me the 3 and that's it. But that's
I have
the
a
correct
question.
answer. Yes.
How did you get 1 sig fig for the answer?
How many sig figs are here?
1.
1? Okay, so I have 4, I have 3, I have 1. What number is lower?
Oh, 1.
1. So that's how I got 1.
Got it. I got it.
So it doesn't change, like the rules don't change for division?
Nope.
For okay.
Multiplication and division, the rules are the same. Addition and subtraction, those rules are the same. Okay, so what happens if I mix them up and I do multiplication, division, and subtraction? So let's say we did this. Make it challenging, but not too challenging.
So would you just solve like the same way you did, just in the parentheses first?
That's right. Is it P dash, or whatever?
Yeah, PEMDAS.
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 Yeah.
Yes, PEMDAS. Okay, so yes, so let's go and solve this first.
Is that 120?
No, it's not 120.
Oh, it's not? What is it? 12 or just 20?
Plug it into a calculator. I'm not your calculator.
No,
the first
the
number.
first
The
number.
first one. Oh yeah, that's 120. I'm like, what, you expect me to just give you answers?
14.4 minus 101.
And then we're gonna have 2. So 4.4.
Negative.
Okay, so we plug, how many sig figs here for this first one?
2.
And then what about this number here?
3.
3.
And this number here.
2.
Okay, so this answer in parentheses should have how many sig figs?
2.
2.
Okay, so what did you guys get?
14.4.
You got 14?
14.4.
Are you sure?
Is it 140?
Well, you convert it into
144.
No, 144.
Before you
So
do the
144.
significant.
So how many what would be the answer if we took the sig figs into account?
140?
140.
140, okay. So 140 minus. Okay, so where would I draw my line?
After the 4.
Okay.
And then after the 1. Or no?
Okay. So which one would I use?
The first one, the
Would I
green.
use the green?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so my answer is
39.
How do you know what line are you supposed to use?
you always got to go with the one that is the furthest to the left.
Okay.
Okay, so what should be my answer?
39.
39.
That's going to be my answer?
No.
40.
39.
40.
Oh.
It's just 40.
We're going to use, it's going to be 40. That is correct. You guys get it? Good?
The one
Bad?
exam,
I need another one.
have a
You-
problem like this and then have multiple choice, or is it gonna be like fill in the blank?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I'm evil.
Just a little.
Don't you see the horns? Okay. So the homework assignment, there are questions like this on your homework assignment. So make sure that you're doing your homework assignment. Okay. So I have a couple more slides to go over first. And I know you want to do one more. I make you a deal. I will do one more after I go over those slides. Okay.
Okay.
Did everybody get this down so I can erase?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so this basically tells you that we can use Sig Figs. It kind of gives you the kind of history of it. I did much harder problems, more realistic problems. So, and this gives you that plus or minus concept that we talked about. Okay, so here, how many Sig Figs are present in the quantity below? The first one.
4.
3.
This first one.
Three is in the first one.
3, that's correct. The answer is 3. What about this one?
2.
2.
Okay. 2, remember, these guys are just placeholders, okay? Let us know that it's a really small number. Okay? So we've talked about the concept of rounding off, rounding numbers, right? And so you're familiar, if I ask you for 3 Sig Figs and we look at this number, we'll go our 3 Sig Figs, and then we take a look at that next number. And we use that number to decide whether we're going to be rounding up or we're going to leave it alone. Okay? Make it a 0. Okay? And we've talked about the rule for addition and subtraction. And so here, let's do this problem real quick. It says a student weighs a beaker and 4 different chemicals using different balances. The individual mass and their sums are beaker, 319.5 grams, chemical A, 20.460 grams, chemical B, 0.0639 grams, chemical C, 45.642 grams, and let's see, chemical D, 4.174 grams. Okay, so let's go ahead and put them all down. They did all of the hard work for us. They even added it up for us. All we have to do is write down the problem, right? Zero point 0.0639 and 45.642 and 4.173. We add them all together. Okay. And the answer is going to be 389.838 8, 9. Okay, so where are we going to draw our lines?
The first one after the 5.
Okay. Our second one?
After the 6.
Is it after the 6?
Or
After the 0?
after the
After the 0, that is correct.
Oh.
Okay, the next one?
After the 9.
After the 9, that's correct. The next one?
after the 2.
Okay, so the green line. Okay, and then the next one?
After the 3.
Also the green line. Okay, so which one am I going to use?
The red one.
Is that pink or red?
It's red, yeah, the red. Okay, so then my answer is going to be
3.389.
389.8.
89.8.
0, 0, 0.
Nope,
No.
because those numbers are unsure, right? So you're going to use this number, right? That means we're going to round this guy up or down. I mean, up or leave it alone. Do you guys get that?
Yeah.
So once you draw that line, the line, this number here, only tells us if we're going to round this number up or we're going to leave it alone, right? Everything else after that, you're just going to drop it. You're not going to even put it there. You're just going to put the units. Okay, that's because the numbers here, they're uncertain. They're even more uncertain. We don't want to take them in consideration. We know that this number here has a lot of uncertainty associated with it. So we don't want to take these guys into consideration. All we want to do is see if we can round this up to the next number, or we're just going to leave this number alone. Okay? You got it?
Okay.
It's the same thing that we were doing earlier. Okay. So our next question. Multiplication and division, right? We've talked about that. So in this case, we figure out the one that has the least number of significant figures. Okay. So example, if the mass of 1.00 liters of gas is 1.436, what is the mass of 0.057 liters of gas, right? So this one is just an equivalency, right? So you're saying these guys are going to be equivalent. You're saying that this is going to be equal to each other. So then you cancel out your liters. Okay, so here's our number, unrounded. Which one has the least number of significant figures? How many sig figs does this guy have?
3.
4.
What do we say about those leading zeros? I mean,
They're not significant.
okay, so then how many sig figs do I have?
3.
Okay, 3. Okay, what about here? This number? 4. And this number down here?
4.
1.
Okay, so
Oh, no,
how
wait.
many?
4. Because there's a
4.
decimal.
Cause of that decimal, that's right. Okay, so how many sig figs will this guy have?
3.
3.
3.
3.
So I'm going to use this number to determine whether I round up or round down. So my answer should be
0.0823.
okay. Come on. Whoops. I want to show you your glory, but it doesn't want to work. Okay, there we go. 0.0823. Okay, piece of cake.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, let me see how many slides I have left. I think we're going to stop here because I think you guys need a little time to process.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, right? And we got 14 more slides. We'll stop here.